What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, if you can tell by the title already, we are installing my Fortune Auto coilovers. Now I went with the 510, obviously because mine's more track oriented. But anyways, I'm here at Johnny's shop, JTP Automotive, located in Katy, Texas. If you guys know, he's like one of the sponsors of the channel. He helps out a lot. But anyways, let me go ahead and show you the coilovers. All right, so here we have the coilovers, Fortune Autos. So let's see what you have in the boxes. You have obviously your little certificate of build, some stickers, spinner wrenches, Allen keys, and then on the inner box you have the coilovers. So fronts, rears. Let me go ahead and pull this out and show you guys what it looks like. All right, guys. So feature Anthony here, or editing Anthony. Unfortunately, the file for the unboxing or me showing you the coilovers got corrupted, so I can't show you that. But you know. You guys basically know what it looks like. Here's a picture, you know, your standard basic coilovers. Obviously the Corolla has like a divorced rear, so it's the springs and the strut separate, but other than that the fronts are McPherson style. So and then preload is the same as I've always said for the McPherson style strut. If it's a 7-inch spring, just go ahead and turn the top or the bottom spanner wrench of the spring up a 1/4 inch to where it measures from 7-inch down to 6 3/4. And then for the preload in the rear, you basically just set the height you want with the alignment or the height tool for the spring, and then you adjust the shock to the height once you preload the back suspension. But anyways, that'll be explained more detailed in the later video. So let's just go ahead and get started on this install. Okay, so for like the 2019 or 2018 and up Corolla hatchbacks, what you have to do is obviously, well, minus this part that I added, you're gonna have to remove these two plastic pins that are on there from factory, and then you're gonna have to basically remove the entire cowl. So you're gonna have to go ahead, pop off these windshield wiper blades, which I believe you just take a little flathead, pop this cap off, and it should be a 14mm nut underneath. Take those off, take the wipers off. I think there's a clip right there, a clip over there, and then those two plastic clips would be plastic clips from factory, and then you just go ahead and take off the cowl. So let me go ahead and do that, and we'll go moving on. All right, super simple. So once you get those 14mm nuts off, just go ahead and take the wipers off, and then once you have the 4 clips off, this just pulls right out, and then you have full access over here to the struts. Now I'm not going to do a super in-depth video, mainly because I don't have my tripod or my SD card, so everything's being done on my cell phone today. So I'm basically just gonna kind of do like my little vlog. It's not really a DIY. If you guys want a full DIY, just go ahead and check out Hot Hatch's video. He did a full video on how to do this, which is mainly the video I use to try and figure out what I need to do. I'll go ahead and link that down below. So yeah, let's go ahead and move on. All right, so we actually had to contact Fortune Auto to see what they recommend we do with this cowl, because of the way the plates are, it blocks the camber adjustment. So they said really just cut off this portion that covers the camber plates so you can get the adjustment. So what Johnny's doing, he's just drilling out the rib nut or the spot welds, and then he's gonna cut like a little round, and then we're just gonna take off that cover plate. So yeah, hopefully this works out. So he has the spot welds out now, so he's just prying it off. Once he pries it off, he's gonna make sure it's separate, so that way we can make a clean cut across, so that way the camber plate area is open. All right, once you cut it, just go ahead and remove it, and then you have all this open area to mess with the camber adjustments now. So since you have all this exposed metal now, just go ahead and shoot it down with some primer or some black paint or whatever paint really, just so it's not bare metal anymore, so it doesn't rust over. Okay, so after you get the cowl off, just go ahead and come down here, and then you're going to have to take two 22mm to loosen up the 2 bolts right here, one on top and then one at the bottom. And then once you're done with that, just go ahead and take off the clip for the brake line, and then remove that nut that's for the tension arm. So once you get the 22mm nuts off, just go ahead and remove this
cover right here that covers the tie rod bolt. So you're gonna need an Allen key and then like a little wrench to go ahead and loosen that off. Or if you have an impact, hopefully it just comes right out.
It's still not done. I gotta grab that shit off. It's a fucking 17, bro.
17 millimeter nut. Okay, so really simple. Once you, it was a, what was it, a 14 or 12?
14.
A 14 millimeter bolt to take off the brake line, and then like a little plastic clip you just kind of pop out, and that 14 millimeter nuts at the top, and then it just comes right out. So what is the benefits of this? Obviously, one, the adjustability. Two, this thing is massively heavy compared to this one. So that's a weight factor. Ride height adjustability. Now, if you guys, I don't know if I mentioned it earlier in the video, but this is the 510 series of the coilovers, and you're probably asking yourself, what is the difference between the 500 and the 510? Well, Fortunato has write-ups on each individual coilovers on their website, so I'll link that down below so you guys can do a full in-depth read. But to give you the long and the short of it, the 500 is geared more towards street use with the occasional track use. 510 is geared towards more track use with the occasional street use. Now, obviously, they have their Pro Series that goes above the 510, and that one's just basically all track use. But you know, this one's a good medium. Like if you're more tracking your car than you are streeting, which that's what I'm doing. This car has like it just hit 3,000 miles today on my way here, so I don't drive this car very often. So they gave me the 8K front and the 11K rear, but I'll have to double check that and let you guys know. So next up, what we have to do is we have to preload the coilover. These do not come preloaded, but it's really simple. For a McPherson style strut, which is the two bolts right here, if it's a 7-inch spring, you just got to twist this up until the 7 inches becomes 6 3/4. So you just got to move it up a 1/4 inch, and then that's what they consider preloaded. So I'm gonna let Johnny do his thing real quick, and then we'll go ahead and put this inside. So obviously, to set the preload, all you got to do is loosen up the Allen key that holds in the lock ring, which these new lock rings are so amazing compared to like the double lock rings I'm used to. And these just take an Allen key to lock it, so you don't have to like twist one bottom and then twist the other one to like set it. And then like another great thing is that on these lock rings, they tell you what Allen key you need, so you're not like guessing which one it is. So
this is so nice.
So as he's turning it, Johnny is making note about this radial bearing that's made in Japan. So that's actually really nice. He's saying it's making it super smooth to rotate, and then like you're definitely going to feel that in the ride quality on the road once you're driving. So Johnny is thoroughly impressed here. All right, so once the paint dries on the cowl, just go ahead and bolt it back on. Obviously, you're going to need the coilovers on for that, but there are two 10 millimeters and then all the 10 millimeters along the firewall that takes it out. But yeah, just go ahead and do that, and then once you're done there, just go ahead and align the 22 millimeter bolts and nuts to line up the shock. Put back in the 14 millimeter for the brake clips, and then we'll do the tie rod bar last. So yeah, once that's done, we'll go ahead and try to mock everything up to see how much lower. We just kind of guesstimated. The stock strut was what, 21 inches long from the top of the hat down to the base. So what we did was we measured this one down to like 19.75, 19 3/4. So hopefully that gives us roughly 2 inches. But you know, it's never an exact math with coilover, so let's just go ahead and see. Yeah. All right, so we have the fronts somewhat adjusted. The other side is a little bit lower, but this is about the gap I want. Mainly I want it a little bit higher just to make sure the other wheel's clear. So it's roughly about a 1.5 inch gap, at least my finger's at a 1/2 inch gap. But if you go over to here, as you can see, it's much lower. I barely fit one finger in there. So yeah, I don't know, but we're both out of time right now, so I'm gonna have to leave the car overnight. Johnny is gonna go ahead and finish up tomorrow. Unfortunately, I have
We're gonna watch Fast 10, baby! Yeah!
So yeah. So you know how it goes. You know, we don't want to be working on this all day. So I'm going to leave it here. He's going to work on it tomorrow. Unfortunately, I have prior engagements tomorrow. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to come and help him finish up. But anyways, So from here, you're just gonna go ahead and see me pick it up and... All right guys, so obviously Johnny was able to button everything up before I could get there to help him finish, but we are actually working on my buddy's Ty's car right now, and he has a very similar setup to my current suspension. It is a divorce setup. The only difference between his and mine is that his perch is at the bottom, mine is at the top. So to adjust the springs on this one, you have to adjust it from the spring. You don't adjust it from the shock for ride height. What you have to do is you have to adjust the height where you want it based off this. Make sure the shock is not bolted in. Preload your suspension with a jack or a transmission jack, however you're doing it. And once you have it preloaded, or at least a guesstimate on where it's preloaded, then you adjust the shock height to match this bolt hole. You do not adjust the ride height from the shock, you adjust it from the spring. So yeah, unfortunately I couldn't show you on my car, but I'm going to show you on my buddy's Ty car. If I'm filming everything correctly and editing everything correctly, you won't even be seeing this video until 2 weeks later. This will be the end of my other video, but let's go ahead and take a look at the Corolla and see how it looks. Alright guys, so here it is out in the light. Looks truly amazing. I also want to mention that I added a 20mm spacer, front and rear, with the rear, the rear factory spacer still on. But unfortunately, it does rub just a tiny bit. I did test drive it without the spacers. It doesn't rub without the spacers. So I'm either gonna have to roll my fenders or just go to like a smaller spacer, or unfortunately have to raise it back up, which I don't think I want to do currently. I do like the way it sits right now. I don't know. Maybe I'll deal with the rubbing. I'll figure it out. Maybe stiffen up the struts a bit. Maybe that'll help. But anyways, looks completely amazing. Very easy, straightforward install. Like I said, this is more of a vlog style video. If you guys want a more in-depth video, check out Hot Hatch's install video. I did mention the cutting of the plate, which I don't believe he did in his video, so you could use that portion of my video and then go to his for more detail. I'll leave links down below. But yeah, anyways guys, thank you again, Fortunato. They look amazing. Can't wait to test it out on track. Hopefully I can shave a couple seconds off my time. And yeah, I don't have another track day set for a little bit. I actually have to get this car back to Clutch City Customs for its 2-week checkup. But that'll be a different video. But yeah, that'll be it for this video. So thanks again for watching, guys. Until next time, later.